10,000 years ago, a massive predator explodes from the snow, driving a multi-ton herbivore to the ground in a violent blur of fur and fangs. Today, on the dry African savanna, a modern lion wrestles a buffalo into the dirt, clamping its jaws shut to suffocate the struggling animal. These are two apex predators, separated by 10 millennia of evolution. But what would actually happen if they crossed paths? To answer that, we have to look at the biomechanics of the extinct Smilodon. This cat was a physical anomaly, packing up to 436 kilograms of dense muscle onto a remarkably compact frame. The defining feature is the jaw. The Smilodon could open its mouth to an incredible 120-degree angle to clear a pair of 28-centimeter canine shears. The Smilodon was an over-engineered killing machine designed specifically to dispatch massive Ice Age megafauna. Panthera leo, the modern lion, roams an entirely different environment and utilizes an entirely different anatomical blueprint. The lion's ribcage schematic highlights a unique evolutionary quirk. The heart is positioned unusually far back between the fourth and sixth ribs. Pushing it backward sacrifices cranial chest space, but provides heavy anchor points for the massive forelimb muscles required to pull down moving targets. The lion sacrifices some internal volume to strike a delicate balance between explosive takedown power and the aerobic endurance needed to pursue modern prey. If we place these two titans on a neutral, open plane, the opening seconds of the engagement strongly favor the modern cat. The lion has a highly flexible spine and long, comparatively lean limbs. In short bursts, it can reach speeds of up to 80 kilometers per hour. The Smilodon, by contrast, carried so much bulk on such short limbs that it likely topped out at just 35 kilometers per hour. But if the lion fails to keep its distance and the fight devolves into a close-quarters grapple, the anatomical advantages flip entirely. Look at this radiographic data plotting the strength and rigidity of limb bones across various cat species. The data points labeled SFA represent Smilodon fatalis. They sit completely separated from the rest of the pack, acting as high outliers for humeral cortical bone thickness. That massive bone reinforcement was an evolutionary necessity. The Smilodon needed limbs thick enough to withstand the extreme bending and twisting forces of instantly wrestling giant prey to the floor. The lion easily dominates the sprint, but the Smilodon is structurally unrivaled in a wrestling match. Once the combatants are locked together, the fight comes down to the lethal capacity of their jaws. This bar chart reveals a counterintuitive truth. Despite its smaller size, the modern lion generates a crushing bite force between 650 and 1,000 psi. The giant Smilodon maxes out at roughly 600. The lion channels that immense pressure through short, conical teeth. They are built specifically to crush thick bone and collapse a windpipe. The Smilodon evolved a weaker bite because its enormous fangs were actually quite fragile. They were precision instruments evolved solely to slice through soft tissue and sever arteries, a maneuver that requires far less mechanical pressure. This completely explains the Smilodon's freakish upper body strength. It had to use its forelimbs to hold its victim completely motionless. Otherwise, a struggling target would snap its delicate fangs clean off during the strike. Their distinct weapons dictate entirely different lethal strategies. The lion's brute force suffocation versus the Smilodon's surgical exsanguination. So, who walks away from the open plane? In a one-on-one physical deathmatch, the Smilodon's 400-kilogram bulk and immense grappling strength would almost certainly crush the modern lion. But stepping back to view the broader timeline of history, the lion ultimately won the evolutionary war. The Smilodon was a victim of hyper-specialization. Its entire anatomical blueprint was reliant on the existence of huge, slow-moving Ice Age megafauna. When the global climate warmed and the giant herbivores vanished, the Smilodon's design became a fatal flaw. It was too heavy and too slow to catch the new, agile prey that populated the Earth, and so it starved. The lion survived that exact same climatic shift because of its balanced traits. Its leaner build, pack hunting dynamics, and durable bone-crushing jaws allowed it to quickly switch its diet to smaller, faster prey. Nature doesn't care who wins a single fight. Over thousands of years, the environment ultimately favors the adaptable generalist over the indestructible specialist.